Good morning. So this is July 1st. Yay. It's first day of July, which means it's my birthday month. So I am so excited. And today, a year ago, I think it was on the 30th, I left to Spain, and I think today I was in Pamplona trying to adjust, right, because of the jet lag. And I think I stayed there 2 days. So I adjusted in Pamplona and then later went to Jean-Pierre-de-Port, which is in France, where I started my pilgrimage for 30 days in El Camino de Santiago, because I'm very spiritual and I really wanted to ascend. And also my brother was very ill, and he was so I went to see if he so mandaf, so sort of like for anybody that is Catholic, you sort of do these like pilgrimages. So also for him, I didn't expect him to get better, so I wasn't really hoping for that, but I did pray that that he go through this transition better. So it's almost a year, so I'm so happy, and I'm glad I did it. So you walk for 30 days, you walk like 12 miles. Me, because there's other kids like younger like you guys that can walk like, I don't know, 15 or 16. That was way too much for me. So 12 miles is about 21 kilometers, and it's on daily basis, and you go for like 30 days. So I'm really excited. It's my birthday month. My apologies on the late video. I know that I have a lot of messages, as I told you yesterday before. I have been locked out of my account, and we'll discuss that in a minute. And in addition to that, so as I was working through it, there was a glitch in my account. So even though I did whatever the request was, it wasn't going through. So I finally had our IT department at SU, which is great, and a big shout out to Edgar, because if it wasn't for him, I still would not be able to have logged on. My boss was great. Our director, he really helped me out, and he was about to really adjust my account, because you guys are waiting, and for those of you who are new, right, and new students, sometimes these things happen, so you have to be careful. And I know that when you don't know, well, you don't know what's going on. So I thank you for your patience, and I will get back to you. I have a lot of bubbles, so just bear with me, because I'm like super behind. Okay, so that's what the deal is. So today's daily attendance, July 1st, I have one of my students that said, hey miss, well, can you sort of do like a video, like a screenshot, or I don't know, put up something what the date is, and maybe you can maybe put up like a date for like you wanted me to hold out that it was July 1st. So I have been really busy, so I don't know why that is, but I'll try to figure it out. And part of the thing is for you all to be able to view me. So I don't know. So I'll check into that. It would be nice. I don't know how to put like a tag on top in my YouTube videos that say, the date, but I will check into it. That's research that I probably need for my business, and to better do these videos. So that there's a lot of stuff that I needed to say. So this is July 1st. I already put the links up. So you have July 30th, you have June 30th link attendance, and you have today's link, which is July 1st attendance, and this is a video. For those of you who are in, English 133, either A500 or A501, know that the books are late. I mean, it's just, so you're not going to get them. So we'll chill this week, and I won't give book assignments, because some of you don't have them. So if you'll please tell me if you have them or not, so that way I can know. Another thing, when I referenced 133 A500 or 133 A501, right, 501, when you reach out to me and you're telling me about whatever it is that you need to tell me, you need to tell me what class you are, because if not, then I have to go look for all my classes and figure out which class you're at, and then be able to go in to make any arrangements that I have to. So when you reference yourself and you tell me what class you're in, you need to tell me your name, what class you're in, and then you have to add the like A500 or whatever, okay? So for English 145, make sure that you already logged in. Don't do an assignment yet, since I haven't been able to get in. I was hoping to give you chapter 1. Don't do it yet, because it's not going to transfer over, because I need to set it up so that way from Cengage it transfers over to SU. Okay, so just chill out. Let's just chill and adjust for today. I've had a rough start technologically, so it is what it is. So we're a little behind, right? which leads me to this, okay? And for those of you, so what you have to do is make sure that you have your book, right? Probably till next week. If you don't have a book and you have an ebook, which is 145, make sure that you log on. You have to log on. If you don't log on, then you're not going to be able to access the book. And you need the book in order to pass. I'll reference that in a minute because I'm going to go on a tangent. And for those of you who are new and have me as new students, I sometimes get that way, so just bear with me. You know, there's a reason, but sometimes I get very aggravated and I go on these tangents. So it is what it is, and so you guys got it today. All right, so make sure that you check out your live virtual sessions right when you have your class, and you go up there right before my bio, I think, or right underneath it. And for those of you, make sure that you read the bio. It's important. And then you have live virtual sessions. You also have an academic honesty policy. Students must review this in order to access the classroom resources. Sorry, that did not make any sense. So there's a link there, and it says academic honesty policy. Students must review the act and to access course material in the classroom resources. Okay, so you need to make sure that you review the academic honesty policy. The other thing is also classroom resources, and then you have to check out the plagiarism, and I think there's APA format. Usually I'm not so strict on APA format. Do know that is required for probably everywhere in life. You guys are pretty lucky, because when I was in college in APA format, we really needed to put it in and all that. So now with Word documents, they automatically do it for you, so you're very lucky. So learn how to do that even if I don't require it, and you will see that I'm pretty laxed in whatever it is that I require. And part of the deal with that, and remember that I'm a principal, okay? So it's not like I'm like pulling this out of the hat or my arm or somewhere else, right? I mean, I know what I'm doing. I have a reason to do whatever it is that I do. And so since these are Englishes, and Englishes are boring, even though you need them, and for my for the Englishes 133, it's really about the structure of English, and I'll teach you what the structures are in terms of words and how to develop them and how they're created and how you can decipher them, because in medical terminology you're going to need that. So it's important for you to understand how words are created and how it is that their foundation is, okay? And so those are the meetings for Teams meetings. I haven't set up the Teams meetings because I've been doing all this and I just got my rosters yesterday, so chill out. I'll get to it, okay? So I had another student that said, hey miss, I won't be able to attend my team meetings. I usually have team meetings in the during the day, and they're set, and then I usually have some at night, okay? So we'll see how that works. Last term, since I wasn't grading them, nobody showed up to the team meetings. Well, I don't appreciate that either. So I don't know what I'm going to do, and that really is discouraging on my end, because even if you don't get a grade, just out of politeness, I would think that you have to show up. And because I don't give you a grade, I give you guys a leeway to not have to make it if you work. But that doesn't mean that if you don't work, not to show up. So lots of stuff to talk about, and this will probably be a long video, so get comfortable, right? So we'll figure it out. I still haven't figured out how we're going to do the Teams meetings for the students that can't show up. I will have two different meetings, one in the afternoon and one during, one in the early evening and one in the afternoon, so those students that can, can't make it during the day, because those meetings are really important, and they're sort of my lectures, and it's real time with me, so that's important. And remember, I can't help but stress that you all are paying for this. And not only are you paying for your certificate and your degree and the experience and the knowledge that you're going to get, but what you do and what you're getting, sorry, I have it's because I'm exhausted. It's just been a lot of energy today, and I'm sort of really aggravated. So please forgive me if I have bad posture. But anyway, part of what you're paying for is your professor's expertise, okay? So you all are super gifted and super lucky, because everybody, basically all your professors, especially your doctors, they're doctors, and they have, a lot of them have their businesses in Juarez, okay, or somewhere else, okay? So it is incredible, the experience that you have. So it's up to you whether you want to tap into it or not, okay? Because sometimes, so you have access to people that are super, super qualified at what they do, okay? So with me, let's take me as an example, because I can only speak about me, right? So not only do I have a master's degree in education, I have extensive educational background, over 23 years of experience. So I know about curriculum, I know about word structures, I know about all sorts of stuff, okay? Not only that, but I'm also an entrepreneur that has secured, I don't know, I think it's 35 million, okay, in deals, all right? So I have my own business, so it's multifaceted, and so I'm super, super, super experienced and super qualified for this, all right? I love teaching, it gives me lots of stuff. It gives me a sense of connecting with my students that I so much need. It gives me a sense of foundation and stability, because it's something that I've done all my life. So I missed dealing with students. I missed having the school, and I missed the foundation it does. And it also gives me great financial security, because it's constant, right? Because in my business, I deal on commission. And even though I've gotten to the point in my business where I could probably leave this, I wish not to, because I also am very spiritual, and I take my job very seriously. So I feel that I am a teacher, and that I'm in this position, and I have done my life journey, which is teaching, for a reason, and it is to inspire, to help, to better get you through this process and this path of journey that we call life. Okay, so I take my job extremely, extremely seriously. I feel that if you got me, you're ready to listen to the message, which is about empowerment. It's about being independent, and independent doesn't mean you have to be alone. Okay, it just means that you can succeed and you can stand on your own, every single part of it, financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. Okay, so it's about becoming independent fully, so you can bring in just wholeness to whatever it is that you're bringing in, whether it be a business, whether it be school, whether it be your partner or your relationship. Everything is work. Okay, even love. If you have a good relationship, honor it, work at it, and try to do the best that you can be and do. Okay, because even if you have a good relationship, doesn't mean that it's going to be like that forever. And anything in this life takes energy, time, or money. Okay, so the cheapest thing is money. If you can pay for it, and it goes. The hardest thing is energy and time. Okay, and that's what we have, and that's something that no matter how much people pay you, and no matter how much money you're making in your life, that's something that you cannot get back. So if you spend it, you waste it, you blow it off, or whatever, you never get it back. Okay, so the easiest thing is money. All right. So, so I take my job very seriously, and sometimes I lose my train of thought. But going back to it, so what was it? So anyway, so I usually talk, and this is usually what my lectures are about. So it'll come. So anyway, so make sure that whatever it is that you do the best that you can be. Okay. So I forgot. So let's go back to it. So make sure that you do. So your APA format, it'll come. So just get used to it, please. It'll come to me. And then we have the plagiarism. Make sure that you check out the plagiarism. The creativity. Part of the reason, because I went on this tangent, right? Part of the reason that I don't have restraints, I don't have a lot of rules, I don't have a lot of ways in which you're gonna turn in your stuff or do your stuff, which is APA. So even though I encourage APA, I will not dock you when you turn in, and it'll probably be your midterm and your final that you're going to be doing in terms of essays and stuff. I will not dock you if you don't do it in APA. But it is your obligation to know it, and it is your obligation to be able to write well, okay? So if you want to use it, go into it, learn how to use it. If you need help, let me know, but there is an APA. That's a lot of airplane going on, all right? So please excuse the noise. I'm outside. I'm in my garden, which I really, really love. So it is up to you. So even though it's not required to do APA, I do expect you to turn in the best work that you can do, because you'll get the grade, right? And if you want to turn in poop, then you turn in poop. But if you really want to better yourself and be the best that you can be, then you turn in quality work all the time. And that determines and that defines who you are, always. No matter who's looking, and even when no one's looking, okay? So that sets you apart from anybody else. It doesn't matter what you do, okay? If you sweep, if you clean toilets, if you're the best toilet cleaner, and if you're the best that sweeps, people are going to look for you, and it's called job security. And it's about an integral part of you, and it's about who you are and what character you are, and who it is that you want to be. Or you want to be referred to the guy that cons everybody and cuts corners and turns in crap, then you keep on going in this path, because you're not going to get very far away, and you will not be respected, okay? And you might get away with some stuff, but eventually they're gonna know what the quality is, and you're gonna struggle a lot because you're not doing things right. It's sort of like my employees, when I had my mentors and I had my boss, and my boss used to tell you about teachers. If they would only do their job, I didn't understand that till I became a principal. If everybody just does whatever they need to do correctly, right, and appropriately, there wouldn't be any problems. But it's those people that are cutting corners, that don't want to do it. You know, it's harder to sort of figure out how not to do the job and do whatever, what else other than what you need to do to get done, than to just do it and get it done, period, right? It's why anxiety for school and students happens, because you're waiting, or you have that pending. Just get it done. Try your best and get it done. If you don't know, then you ask, right? I couldn't figure out, why I was locked out. I was already doing all the processes. Well, I had a glitch. So what happened? If I wouldn't have hustled it, we'd still be without an upload, okay? But I hustled it. I reached out to IT. He fixed some of it yesterday. Didn't get the rest for whatever reason, or thought he had got it done, and so finally got it done. But it is your obligation, because it concerns you, whatever it is. So you hustle it. If it's a grade, if it's a promotion, if it's pursuing a relationship, whatever it is, ¿a quién le importa? Whose interest is it? And so proceed. Don't expect somebody to solve your problems and do it, okay? So that's the deal on APA. So plagiarism, student absence. I've never had anything on student absences because I'm pretty lenient, but I'm going to have to write up a policy, which I hate, and that's why teachers get meanies, because they just, there's just so much advantage taken them, and then people make up stuff or whatever, and then you didn't have it in writing and this and that or whatever. So that's why people get pissed, or get meanies, and have no they have no desire or no patience. That's what it is. They have no patience for people who don't get stuff done. And for me, I have no patience for stupidity, and I have no patience for lazy people. All right. Failures, are something that we have to go through, and as long as I see that people are really working it and really see an effort, then there's not a problem, right? Because I am here to help you succeed, and I am here to facilitate whatever it is that I can facilitate. And for me right now, for you all, it's this class, and so I'm not going to make this class really hard, right? I'm going to make it to where you're going to learn a lot about English, right? You're going to learn a lot about yourself, okay? And you're going to learn about life is really what it is. I can make it as hard or as difficult as I want. I'm a principal, okay? So also make sure that you do your syllabus. So that's the assignment for today. Go over all those things. So the first one is the live virtual session. If there's nothing there, don't worry about it. We'll do a run through to Teams, okay? When I tell you. Academic honesty policy, you probably already did it. If not, you couldn't access my course material, classroom resources. I think you're good. Check on the plagiarism, check on the APA, check on the student, don't check on the student absence. I don't think I have anything, but I will say this about student absences. You're supposed to get approval from the office, okay? We don't approve student absences, all right? Now, once they approve it and you have an excused absence, just like school, just like elementary, just like high school, okay? That doesn't mean that you will get a pass and you will be approved by the professor to turn in late work. That just means that you already passed one section of it, the first approval. You still need a second approval, and the professor, it's in his authority to either agree to allow you for late work or not, because the late work is the late work, okay? So the approval of an absence does not mean and does not guarantee you that you are okay with turning in late stuff. It's still part of the professor, okay? He has the final say. Now let me say this, okay? And I have never reviewed this in video, TV. You can tell how old I am, but I do this as a lecture, okay? So please forgive me. I have a little tea here, and it's been a really, busy morning, so please forgive me. I'm drinking chamomile tea. It says, your great happiness is based on the warmth of your heart. So that's today's message for you all, okay? I'm very spiritual, and I love these little teas because they are sort of like fortune cookies, and they give you like a little saying. So I love them. So that's today's sayings, all right? So let me tell you what school is about, all right? School is not a democracy, all right? I'm sorry to tell you, it's not a democracy, all right? So you all can comment down below why it's not a democracy. It really is a dictatorship. There's rules, not necessarily by the teacher, but by the institution, right? Because there's certain, things that we have to abide by. There's certain curriculum. There's certain hours that we have to meet. There's all sorts of certain stuff we need to apply. It's not like we take it out and the school doesn't like make up stuff. We're governed by whatever department that we're governed. Elementaries and high schools and all that are governed by the Department of Education. So it just depends what you're governed by, right? And they tell you what it is that you need in order to certify the students and in order for them to get their degrees. And so we have all these rules, right? And so within that, it goes down, right? Because there's a flow chart and there's a hierarchy. So you have the department of whatever it is that it is. And then you have the institutions that have their regulations. And then, which is like in this case, the university, right? There's all sorts of things that we have to meet, all sorts of standards. And they have to meet all sorts of standards, and all sorts of objectives and goals to be able to certify you all, because then we wouldn't be legit. Okay, so then they also have all those things that they're required by us, that we're required from them so we can meet. And then there's our requirements for you all, right? For you all to meet in order to do it. So in the end, the teacher has extraordinary power, all right? It is important to understand that, because if you don't understand that the teacher has extraordinary power and you're not, and you don't understand what position you're in, okay? And I mentioned this one day with this student, and she says, I'm in the position, I'm a student. Well, yeah, there's obligations you have to meet, and she missed a lot of them. She missed a lot of she was absent a lot, and it was a hot mess, okay? In the end, it was a hot mess, and she was wanting to blame me and all sorts of stuff, whatever, okay? In the end, I have the power. You don't turn in homework, I can either agree or not, okay? Now, I will tell you this, and I'm just going to lay it out, right? You piss off your teachers, they're not going to help you, all right? Now, unless you have all your dots, your I's dotted and your T's crossed and everything, all your ducks in a row, then you have nothing to worry about, right? Because you've turned everything in, you've done this, you've done that, you have nothing to worry about, which is the way I conducted myself in business and the way I conducted myself as a principal, okay? As a principal, I had all my haters. You think I did it? My teachers couldn't stand me, some of them. The workers loved me, the ones that worked, the ones that didn't. My boss loved you, but other than that, I had a lot of haters. You know how I got out of it? I made sure that I didn't do anything illegal. I met every single standard. I dotted all my I's, all my T's. Right? So nobody can come after me. All right? So unless you're at that position, at that point in your life where and everybody's going to screw up, right? Everybody's going to screw up. So there's always, issues that are going to arise. That's why you have to do such a good job, because if you do such a good job, then anytime there's an issue, people will try to help you because they know that it was a mistake, okay? But when you're not doing a good job, when you don't meet your standards, where you don't meet your part of the deal, right? Because my part of the deal is to be able to teach. Your part of the deal is to be able to turn in whatever it is that you do. And I try to make it as easy as I can. My class can't get any easier, okay? And I do that on purpose. I do it because, as I mentioned before, I want you to have more time to be able to dedicate to your other classes. Not that English in my class is not important, but that I understand the workload in the other classes and everything that you have to do. Draw blood. I used to say take blood out or whatever, because I don't have the proper vocabulary because I'm not in health, right? So in the end, it is to the discretion of the teacher if you screwed up, if you didn't put in a deadline, if you got a bad grade or whatever, to either give you the opportunity or not. Now, I will tell you this, and this goes for life. If you're meaning, right, if you're condescending, if you're in their face, if you're challenging them for something that there's no challenge because it's very set in the rules, then understand what position you're in and understand where you're at. Because in the end, the school is not a democracy. We don't get to vote, right? You get to vote in my class. Like, you get to pick what your final is and what your midterm. Who does that, right? Nobody, all right? But in the end, you are told what you're supposed to do. You either meet it or not, okay? So it's up to you. So it really is a dictatorship, okay? I'm sorry. It really is. All right. So in life, I learned really quick in my class, and when I was at UTEP, I graduated from UTEP, and I learned really, really quick at in my class when I started getting my degree, my undergrad. Sorry, I'm repeating because I have people over here that that are distracting me. But anyway, so in my class, when I was getting my undergrad, I learned really quick that whatever the teacher wanted, I produced. That's it. Now that doesn't mean that I went against my morals. That doesn't mean that I went against my character. That doesn't mean anything. But I picked and chose my battles. I picked and chose to see what it was that I wanted to really, go up against or whatever. Sometimes, maybe it wasn't worth it if I had a really conservative professor and I had to write on something. Maybe I wasn't as liberal. As you all could probably know, I'm probably really liberal. So I just learned to adapt to whatever it is that they needed. And whatever it is that they required, I sort of turned in. No questions asked. That's what they required. It was what it was. If I had issues, if I had problems, then I'd contact them and see if I could work it out. I got a lot of breaks, okay? And it's interesting to see. And there's something about just asking asking politely. You can get the world. When I first got my first job, I got hired. I was set up to do, I had already had a Disney packet paid, and we were going to go, my family and I. And when I got hired, all my travel was paid for, and we were about to start school, and I was about to get a really important job that I needed. And I just told my boss, I said, hey, I have this. I would love to work. I really want the position, but I have this, this trip that's completely paid. There's no way I can cancel it, this and that. So he let me start later. So that taught me a huge lesson, all right? Which leads me to, being locked out of my account, which, is where the tendon's going to be, okay? For those of you who have had me in the past, you know that I'm super easy, I'm super flexible, whatever it is that you guys need, as long as you ask politely, as long as I know that you're not conning me, as long as you're not taking advantage of me, I have no problem. Now remember that I am a teacher, okay, and I am a principal. So having said that, what happens is that I'm like your mother. I know exactly what it is. I know if you're lying or not, okay? So having said that, okay, let me move this a little bit more. So having said that, okay, I know when you guys are lying or not. Besides, I'm pretty psychic. And so I know stuff, right? And so if I feel like you're taking advantage of me, or you didn't put an effort, right? You left me, because there's a lot of people that leave me till the end because I'm so easy. So then they don't get their stuff in, and so then they're scrambling week 5 to get everything in. Well, I don't work that way, okay? And I'm not going to allow that. And I understand that I'm pretty easy, but that just means you minimize my class, and that means you don't respect me. So I'm not going to give you any breaks for that, okay? So that's what happened. I had a couple of disputes. This last term was very interesting. I've never failed so many people in my life, okay? I just couldn't pass them. There was no way. They weren't even close. They were putting no effort. They weren't even close to passing, okay? So I couldn't even justify it or tell them to turn something in or whatever, because there's no way they could get it done, all right? So as I mentioned, and I have mentioned in my past, for you to fail my class, and please forgive me for those of you who failed, and this is a diss, and this is very judgmental, but I'm just going to call it for what it is, right? For those of you who failed my class, you need to reevaluate your life, okay? That means you're not showing up to life, and that means that you're getting handed a precious gift, and you didn't care to get, okay? Because my precious gift is 100. Flat out, okay? Not much effort, okay? But you need to show up and you need to do the work, all right? So that means that if you're missing 100, the ability to get 100 in my class, what else are you skipping out on that you're not willing to put in minimal effort? Because my class isn't even a full-time effort. It's just a minimal effort, okay? So you're not even willing to put in minimal effort to get the desired outcome. Not only that, but you're creating so much havoc in your life because you're having to retake my class, okay, which leads me to another thing. I'm the only one that gives English. So guess what? You're going to see me again, all right? And that's how life is, right? You sort of come back around. I have a story about one of my first terms. It was a hot mess. I'm not even going to get it. But the guy was like a hot mess. He accused me of, of asking him personal stuff about his disability and this and that. I would never. Okay, if I do, I'm going to ask you on the side to know what it is so that way I can modify you for you. I'm a teacher. I'm trained, okay? And whatever. So he accused me of all sorts of stuff. I had to dispute it. I had to write stuff out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? He needed to come back. He did the same stuff the second time. I think by the third time he passed my class, okay? I have a student that's taken it for 4 or 5 times. He still can't pass my class. That one's another story. That one's something else is going on. But anyway, but if you don't pass my class, it's just very disrespectful on my end. You know, you really need to evaluate your life, and I don't care if you hate me if I tell you, okay? So forewarned for everybody that's wanting to leave my stuff later, because it gets accumulated and it's quite a bit, right? And I'm not going to let you turn it in before the first part of the term, which is week 1 to midterm. You know, I'll probably be very flexible, but after midterm, you can't turn anything in from the first term. And then your second part of the term, then, you know, you only have till week 5. So anyway, so make sure that you don't take advantage, back to the dispute, to take advantage, because this is what happened, right? I haven't failed so many people in my life. So I failed some people, right? I failed. You guys earn your grades. We don't give them to you, okay? So when they say, oh, the teacher gave me this, we don't give you anything. You guys earn it, okay? And I hope you don't expect to be given something, because nothing is given in this time, okay? In this lifetime, all right? So that's one thing, all right? The other thing is that these people put in the disputes. Some of the people that I failed, they just sucked it up and they took it, right? Because they understand, all right? They understand what the position is. I have others that disputed their grade, all right? They disputed because who knows what. I'm not even going to mention it because whatever. All right, but they disputed their grade. For anybody who has me, you understand what that means. That means that they just didn't do anything. Okay, and that means that they didn't even contact me. I had a student that contacted me on week 5. I still let her turn it in. She still didn't get it in. All right, so I mean, excuse me. What I learned in high school as a principal was that there were some kids that really wanted to graduate, and I facilitated everything. And in spite of me facilitating everything, they still didn't want it. You know, it's sort of like that saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So at that moment, I facilitated. If they want it, fine. If they don't, okay? It was very interesting to me that people wouldn't want it. It doesn't matter how easy I leave it, right? And that goes for relationships too. So be very careful about what it is and how it is that you facilitate things for people, all right? So anyway, so what that created, okay, you had these frivolous disputes, okay, which is probably like lawsuits and stuff like that or whatever in the whole realm of everything, and sort of compares to that. So they write something stupid, really, in the end. They have no proof, right, and they have no backing, all right, but they just think that they can do it. And I don't know if people tell people, I don't know if the students tell people, yeah, don't worry about it. Miss Sabine's really easygoing. She'll give it to you. No, not this way. Okay, so don't even be saying that if you think that that's the case. There's other people that get people worked up and, oh, Miss Sabine, this and that, and then they come to me with the partner that they're advocating to, and then they're like super embarrassed because because then they realize that person never showed up to attendance, that person never did their assignments, whatever. I have a student that didn't open Cengage once, and she's blaming me that my class was too hard. Okay, that was one of the disputes. Okay, let me get some tea. Incredible. Even if it was hard, who cares, right? That's the obligation. You guys need to get it done. Okay, so no matter how hard or no matter how easy, but to say that I was super hard, didn't open the book, all right? So if you are in Cengage and you don't open the book, don't expect to pass, all right? Now, other things, they didn't make it to attendance. It's really simple. I mean, you have like 4-day spread, okay, and learning activities. So we can go on and on. My whole point to this is that those people created such havoc for us. I'm 2 days delayed, right? You guys are freaking because I can't access my link. I look like an idiot because I can't access my link and I'm closed out. It has a glitch. I already answered. I have had to answer it like a million times because it wasn't going in, so I had to go and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. It was a hot mess, okay, for frivolous actions. Very disturbing. Very, very much disturbing. Most importantly, as I mentioned in my response, I'm insulted, right? Because for you to fail my class, I mean, you don't even deserve for me to answer the dispute, okay? So because of this, I highly suggested to my boss that we're going to change the process for disputes. If there's not consistent disputes that have proof and that are legitimate, we shouldn't have to answer it. Why am I going to have to prove that my class isn't hard enough, even if it is? Because if it's a hard class, it's a hard class. You cannot pass because the class is hard. Okay, you cannot be given a pass because the class is hard and because of your schedules. You can't, all right? So anyway, so much to think about, and in the end, you are who you are. So you decide who you want to be, right? And you decide how you want to conduct yourself. Here, it's about honor, It's about respectability. It's about your character. It's about doing the right thing always. If you're not up for it, this class probably isn't going to be yours, and it's not going to be you. Now, if you think, and that's another lesson, just because people are nice doesn't mean they're stupid, and doesn't mean that they'll give you a pass. They'll probably give you a pass one time, and not a second or third. So if you have those bosses that you think are stupid, and that, you know, that they're stupid, they don't know, and you're coming in late all the time, and they don't tell you anything, they know. They're just giving you a pass, and they're going to give you a break. So don't make it to the point where you're going to aggravate them and piss them off, because then at that point, then, you know, everything's going to, you know, hit the fan. So be mindful and know that any type of situation that you're in, you probably chose it, and you're probably in it because you did it and because you worked very hard to get in there, whether it be consciously or unconsciously, okay? So because of that, there's going to be attendance changes and all sorts of that and excuses or whatever, and I'm probably going to have to buckle down on late work and stuff like that, which is horrendous, right? But I'm not going to allow this to happen again. And this wasn't fair to you all. I'm 2 days late. It's not fair to me. I'm so behind. I haven't been able to, you know, to answer your messages, and just based on stupid stuff. It's just such a waste of life. 2 days of waste of life because people didn't do what they were supposed to do. It's horrible. So given that, and I'll close this out, you know, with this, and I know it's taking long, but it's sort of like the lecture, so don't worry about it, and check it all out. So Mama gave me this, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, okay? And Mama and I have gone to China. I've been blessed to go to China twice, really in the end, because I was always interested in China, but also for my spiritual ascension. I'm always trying to better myself in that way. So I went to Tibet, and I went to the Buddhist monks, and when I was at school, it's a long story, so I was always leader, and I always had, you know, unions. That's another thing. I'm super educated. I have a lot of experience. So I went up against teachers' unions, which are, you know, really, really heavy duty. And so I have a lot of experience. I'm going to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row, you know. Anyway, so for those of you who are veterans and those of you who are military, I mean no disrespect, because I don't know what the art of war is. But what the whole book is, right? And she gave me this. So the whole book, and you guys can check it out, you know, I don't know if it's a classic or whatever, but it was, you know, and she gave it to me, and I'm very blessed and very happy. But what it means is, what in the end means is that when you're going up against somebody, or you're in a position where you're going to be challenged or whatever, there's all sorts of stuff you need to know. And so this book gives you like little tidbits, right, on some general, Sun Tzu, I think is the general. I haven't read him forever. And it sort of tells you, you know, what it is that you have to do. And one of them, and what I was going to say, is that you have to understand your enemy. If you don't understand your enemy, and not that we're enemies or whatever, but if you're going up against someone, you have to understand what position they're in, where they come from, and what it is that they know, right? And don't minimize it. Just because you know, you think they're easygoing or whatever doesn't necessarily mean they're easygoing. Or just because, you know, I don't know, you know, some people, you know, like the disputes are ridiculous, just a waste of time. So understand, if you're going to challenge it, what it is that you did, and accept it. You know, if you didn't put in the work, and you didn't put in the effort, and you didn't open your book, well, don't expect to pass, and don't be a crybaby, and suck it up, and take full acknowledgement and full responsibility of what you did, because that is exactly what life is about. Life is about accepting fully what you have done in whatever event, challenge, circumstance, situation you're in. If you do not accept what you have done, for good or bad, then you cannot move forward, and you cannot improve the bad things, the bad situations, the hindsight, whatever. So it is only through understanding what your participation in it was, and once you fully take responsibilities. If you did not do what needed to get done, then don't expect a different outcome, and don't expect for people to have pity on you. Now, if you hustle it, right, and you sort of, you know, really, I don't know, sort of, please help me, I know I screwed up, who knows, right? But really work and effort, they give you a pass, and you still don't get the stuff in, well, don't expect to be helped, okay? And you shouldn't put yourself in that position, because what that happens is that you're not going to get your ultimate goal or objective done, okay? And you're probably going to have to meet the person that you had this altercation with eventually in life. And I'm going to close with this. So I had my assistant principals, beautiful lady. You know, she was one of my teachers when I went to high school. As a principal, I took her. I could only take one person, and I took her. She was excellent. I wouldn't have been able to do what I did if not for her. And so what happened? She arrives and she was from the community. So she stayed there. She grew up there, and then she went back and worked there, right? What was very interesting is that she ended up in a school where, and I don't recommend this because, I say this a lot about, women not being able to, let go or whatever. But anyway, but I'm just telling you in terms of, how things come around and karma and all that or whatever, and how destiny is, right? So she ends up as an assistant principal in this high school where she had a heavy duty hater as a high school, and that teacher just hated her and made her life miserable in high school, okay? And throughout their whole living experience there, because they sort of live in the same area. And what happens? She ends up being her boss. So be careful, and you're forewarned to be very careful how you proceed. And if you're, if you're really wanting to battle it out, and I'm not saying for me, make sure that you understand what that means and the implications that would have to you and your goals. Sometimes it's better to just drop it, but it's sort of like pick and choose your battles, right? So many blessings, love and light. I will see you tomorrow. This is SU Daily Attendance, July 1st. Yay, officially in summer and officially my birthday month. Many blessings to you. Oh, one more thing. For those of you who have reached out and have given me emails telling me that all sorts of beautiful niceties and kindness and wonderfulnesses that I've needed, I so much, very much appreciate it and am very grateful for it because I have very much needed it. Many blessings. I'll get back to your messages. Be patient. See you tomorrow. Ciao.